Okay, so the Venom movie, it's a bit of a mess. The editing is weird, the tone can be all over the place at times. The CGI for full-body Venom is good, but everything else is kinda meh. And the supporting cast is also bland. However, that being said, I like this movie. I like this more than I thought I would. So, what's the deal with these critics? And, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just weird. Maybe it's because I went into this movie not expecting to be blown away like I was with the likes of Infinity War or something like that. But maybe that's not it. Is this movie really bad? Am I just not seeing it? Or, and this is what I really feel, maybe this movie is as good as I think it is, and just because we've been spoiled over the past 10 years with such amazing MCU movies and universe building that anything that's not a part of that universe, people automatically think less of. If a comic book movie doesn't have that Marvel Studios logo on the poster or start of the film, it's frowned upon by critics and some casual moviegoers. And the only way a movie can be praised to the highest of highs by critics is that it has to be some big groundbreaking movie, like Wonder Woman was for women, or how Logan and Deadpool were for rated R movies. I mean, seriously, you can take Venom and add it to the list of other comic book movies like Batman vs. Superman, or Justice League, or the Amazing Spider-Man movies, where if those movies came out before the MCU, or if the MCU didn't exist, then they probably wouldn't have been as critically panned as they were. Because, in my opinion, those are good comic book movies. Not perfect, but good. But the fact that the MCU has taken comic book movies to a whole new level, where they are just more than comic book movies, then, well, unfortunately, these movies, like Venom, or the Amazing Spider-Man movies, or anything from the DCEU that isn't Wonder Woman, is unfortunately going to be cast away to live in the MCU's shadow. So, without spoiling anything, I'll say this. If the trailers looked good or interesting to you, then you should go see this movie, and you might be pleasantly surprised like I was. It's not a bad movie. It's not a phenomenal movie. It's an okay movie. Alright, so now with that out of the way, let's get into spoiler talk. So now, thinking about the writers and directors of this movie, given the task to make a Venom origin story without having anything at all to do with Spider-Man, I think they did a pretty solid job. This is probably the best that anyone could have done with those restrictions in place. So the symbiotes hijack a space shuttle featuring Captain Jameson, crash land onto Earth, with the later plan being revealed that they were planning a symbiote takeover. Carlton Drake, while not the best villain for this movie, is good enough for what we got. His turn into Riot was a bit rushed, and the big CGI end fight with him and Venom is a bit on the lackluster side. But hey, fingers crossed, if this movie does get a sequel, we'll have a way better villain with Carnage teased at the mid-credits scene. And yes, I would like the sequel to be rated R, but it doesn't have to be. I think they could pull off a pretty decent Carnage with a PG-13 rating. I mean, heck, the 90s animated series did, and that was a cartoon for kids. Speaking of the 90s, can we all just take a moment to appreciate how awesome it is that we got a more 90s style Venom for this movie? Because when you think about it, a lot of casual people, when they think of Venom, they see him as this horror-style villain like Freddy Krueger or something. But when I think of Venom, I think of the funny goofball Venom that we got in the animated series. Or my personal favorite Venom from the Spider-Man 2000 video game.
The Venom Marathon continues on the biggest TV in New York. We're shouting out to the whole big rotten apple here, people.
Sad thing is, he'll probably get his own talk show for this.
You and your wife are innocent, Parker. Our bad.
Our bad? Our bad? I'm gonna kill
Peter
you!
Parker! Just get me out of here now!
Bummer. You're in the doghouse now, dude.
Bonehead? We're
We're not going to see Jameson. We're going to use his computer database.
Ooh, are we gonna surf the web?
Let's just go, okay? Here it is, the records room.
Surf the web, surf the web.
Shut up, Brock. We don't have time.
Parker, wait.
Oh, no!
Got to stop falling for us, Parker.
So props go to Tom Hardy for doing an amazing job for Venom in my book. And maybe if he didn't have such a great performance, then I probably would have hated this movie much more like the critics. But Venom steals the show for me, and I wouldn't mind if somewhere down the line Tom Holland can cross over and we could see his version of Spider-Man take on Tom Hardy's version of Venom, or, even better, have the two team up and take down some maximum carnage. So, in conclusion, much like my review for Spider-Man PS4, I'm going to give Venom 2 scores. The Venom fan in me gives this movie a 7 out of 10, while the critic in me gives this movie a 6 out of 10. It's slightly above average, and if they listen to the feedback from the fans, I think Sony can deliver an even better sequel for Venom. Fingers crossed. Until next time, this is your friendly neighborhood ELT, signing out.
Where, what a wuss. Hey, wanna race? Parker hates it when I get the drop on him.
I hate it when he gets the drop on me.